Sometimes life brings people into your path not to stay forever, but to teach you what you've been avoiding within yourself. If you've been in relationships where you felt abandoned, unseen, or like you had to constantly fight for love, there's a deeper truth at play. It's not a punishment, it's a mirror. Your unconscious mind, as Carl Jung taught, is always seeking integration. These patterns are not random. They exist to bring your attention to the wounds you have not yet healed. You might have learned early in life that love must be earned, that you have to prove your worth, fight for attention, or hide parts of yourself to be accepted. But the truth is, when someone is truly aligned with your soul, it doesn't feel like a war. There's no silent battle for recognition, no exhausting performance to prove your loyalty or value. Instead, the connection flows effortlessly. You are seen, accepted, supported. But before you can attract that kind of relationship, you must first examine your patterns. What kind of people have you drawn in? Do the same emotional cycles repeat? Rejection, disappointment, betrayal. It's not fate. It's your unconscious calling you to wake up, to become aware of what you're projecting, choosing, and allowing. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The relationships you've had were not meaningless. They were messages, opportunities to see what still lives in your shadow. Because the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Imagine standing in front of two doors. The first is familiar. You've walked through it many times, into relationships that felt exciting at first, but slowly drained you. You know this path. It's predictable, even if painful. The second door, it's unfamiliar. You don't know what's on the other side. It represents the unknown, healing, transformation, and alignment, but it also demands change. That's why most people avoid it. Not because they want to suffer, but because the unknown feels terrifying. Change always feels risky. But if you want a different experience, if you want a relationship built on peace, presence, and mutual growth, you have to choose that second door. You cannot keep living the same story and expect a new ending. You cannot desire love while rejecting parts of yourself that are meant to receive it. Before you find someone who is right for you, you must first become someone who is aligned with that kind of love. That takes work, inner work. Jung believed in facing the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves that influence how we love, who we choose, and what we tolerate. Until you do that, you will keep choosing from fear, from wounds, from lack. You'll keep calling it love, but it will just be repetition. So ask yourself, am I choosing what's familiar, or am I choosing what's true? When you meet the right person, it doesn't feel like chaos. It feels like calm. There is no tightness in your chest, no need to decode mixed signals, no fear that love will vanish if you stop performing. You don't shrink to fit into their life. You expand together. True connection is not a high-stakes emotional roller coaster. That's intensity. And often, that intensity is a trauma response in disguise. Real love is quiet in its certainty. It feels like breathing, like home. You don't have to convince anyone to stay. You don't have to sacrifice your dreams to feel worthy. You simply are. And that is enough. But to recognize this kind of connection, you have to be deeply connected to yourself. Otherwise, even when the right person appears, you won't feel safe receiving their love. You'll second-guess it, sabotage it, or not see it at all. Peace feels foreign when all you've known is survival. So the question is not, how do I find the right person? The real question is, can I recognize peace? Can I hold it without rejecting it? There's a voice inside you that always knows, not the overthinking, not the over-explaining, but that quiet, deep feeling that whispers, this isn't it. Or sometimes, this is safe, stay. That voice is your intuition, a direct line to the unconscious. Jung spoke often about intuition as a powerful, instinctive guide. While your mind might rationalize red flags, your body keeps score. You feel the truth before you can explain it. Have you ever ignored that gut feeling? Held on to someone despite knowing, deep down, that something wasn't right? You're not alone. We ignore intuition when we're scared. Scared of being alone, scared of starting over, scared that no one else will love us, but staying in. The wrong relationship does not protect you. It only delays your healing. Your intuition will never scream. It will whisper. It will show up as discomfort, anxiety, dreams, synchronicities, signs that the soul speaks through. If you feel confused, ask yourself, what does my body feel when I'm around this person? Peace or tension? The right person will never make your nervous system feel like it's in danger. Everyone you meet reflects something back to you. Sometimes the people you love most are simply mirrors, showing you what you need to heal, what you still seek, or what you have yet to accept within yourself. Have you ever noticed how certain relationships enter your life during moments of emotional transformation? That's not coincidence. Jung called it synchronicity, meaningful encounters aligned with your inner evolution. These people are not always meant to stay, but they are meant to teach. Before asking, is this the right person for me? Ask, what is this person revealing about me? Do they bring out your authenticity, or do you feel like you must betray yourself to keep them close? If you feel constantly drained, anxious, or doubtful, they may be triggering old wounds rather than nurturing your growth. Love should not feel like abandonment dressed in passion. It should feel like presence, like someone seeing you without asking you to disappear. It's easy to believe that love requires sacrifice. Our culture often romanticizes the idea of giving up everything for the sake of the other person. We hear stories of people who stay in relationships that drain them, convincing themselves that the price of love is constant compromise. But true love isn't about constant struggle or endless sacrifice. When you find someone who is truly aligned with your essence, you don't have to fight to keep the connection. You don't have to lose yourself in order to make them happy. True love doesn't require you to give up your dreams or your individuality. Instead, it fosters growth. It nurtures your own potential. It encourages you to be more of who you are, not less. If you find yourself constantly sacrificing your peace of mind, your happiness, or your values, it's worth pausing and reflecting. Is this love, or is it dependency disguised as affection? Jung often spoke about how the unconscious mind will present us with situations and people that reflect unresolved issues from our past. These relationships may appear to be about love, but in reality, they may be about survival. They may mirror the attachment wounds you still need to heal. The question is, are you willing to remain in a dynamic that doesn't allow you to grow? Are you willing to settle for a connection that doesn't honor who you truly are? True love encourages you to expand. It does not demand that you shrink. It doesn't ask you to compromise your integrity. It simply asks that you show up as your authentic self, without fear, without defense. Sometimes we meet people at precisely the moment we need them. This is synchronicity at work, the idea that our external world reflects our inner state and that the right experiences and people show up in our lives when we are ready to meet them. But what is often misunderstood is that synchronicity doesn't always bring us what we want. Sometimes it brings us exactly what we need to evolve. Carl Jung described synchronicity as a meaningful connection between an inner psychological state and an outer event. In relationships, this means that people may enter your life to challenge you, to mirror your unresolved issues, or to help you grow in ways you never expected. The key to understanding these encounters is awareness. When someone enters your life, are you open to learning from them? Or do you cling to the idea of what they should be, instead of allowing them to be the reflection of what's within you? It's easy to mistake these lessons for love, but the truth is, not all relationships are meant to last. Some are simply stepping stones on your journey toward healing. If you find yourself constantly questioning your connection with someone, ask yourself, what am I being asked to learn here? Is this relationship helping you move closer to the person you are meant to become? Or is it keeping you stuck in old patterns? Recognizing the difference between love and life lessons is crucial. When you meet the right person, the connection won't feel forced. It will feel like an organic unfolding, a natural progression of growth. One of the most challenging aspects of finding the right person is the willingness to let go of those who aren't aligned with your future. Many people hold on to relationships because they fear being alone. They cling to what is familiar, even if it no longer serves them. But this fear of loss, this fear of change, keeps them trapped in cycles that prevent growth. Carl Jung taught us that life cannot move forward if we are holding on to things that no longer serve our evolution. If we continue to hold on to relationships that drain us, that keep us small, we are simply maintaining an emotional attachment to the past. We are not creating space for the future. The question is, are you ready to let go of relationships that don't allow you to grow? Are you willing to choose yourself, even if it means walking away from someone who once felt right but no longer fits your life? Letting go is not easy, especially when you have invested so much emotionally. But if you keep choosing what's familiar over what's authentic, you'll continue to attract the same energy into your life. You'll keep walking the same path and wonder why the relationships don't change. Jung often said that we cannot grow in barren soil. If you keep nourishing connections that drain you, all you're doing is prolonging the cycle. But when you choose to let go, when you decide to honor your worth and choose authenticity, something amazing happens. You create space for the right people to enter your life. You begin to attract people who are aligned with your highest self, people who support your growth and inspire you to reach for more. When the right person enters your life, there will be no need to force the connection. It will simply flow. But here's the key: you must first learn to love without need. Too often, people enter relationships with the belief that they need the other person to complete them, to heal their wounds, to fill the empty spaces inside. This dependency creates a foundation built on insecurity. It demands constant validation, constant attention, constant proof that they are loved. But true love does not need to be constantly reaffirmed. It does not require effort to maintain. It is free. It is present. It is the absence of fear. Before you can recognize the right person, you must first be whole within yourself. You must learn to love yourself, to validate yourself, to meet your own needs without seeking them from others. This inner work is the most important step in attracting the right person. Jung often emphasized that true love is not about possession or dependency. It's about connection. It's about two individuals coming together in mutual respect, both allowing each other to grow and expand while remaining true to their authentic selves. When you can love without need, you will attract a connection that feels effortless. You will no longer feel the anxiety of wondering if you are enough, because you will already know that you are. The journey to finding the right person begins with you. It begins with understanding that true love is not about seeking someone to fix you or fill the voids within you. It's about aligning with your true self, embracing your authenticity, and choosing to love yourself first. When you do this, you will begin to see the people around you through a clearer lens. You will recognize those who are truly aligned with your soul and those who are not. The right person will feel like a natural extension of who you are, not a source of chaos or confusion. So if you're wondering whether someone is the right person for you, start by asking, am I the right person for myself? Because when you are truly aligned with who you are, the right person will find their way to you. True love does not require sacrifice. It requires growth, mutual respect, and a deep, unwavering connection to your authentic self. And when that person arrives, you will No, you won't need any justification. You won't need to explain it. It will simply be.